And here's some video of a walk that I did recently to Brooklyn on the Hawkesbury River from Cowan. So this is Cowan train station where I got off the train. Some people park their cars on the Pacific Highway, the old Pacific Highway, and cross the railway tracks to join the Great North Walk and go down to Jerusalem Bay, also known as the Jerusalem Bay Track. So you cross over into the railway sidings and you follow the signs to the Great North Walk. This trek goes for about 13 kilometres, runs about 5.5 hours. I was surprised. I thought, no way. But it's because there are so many ridges to walk out of, it slows you right down. You're also climbing over a lot of rocks for the first half of the track as well. So this is the area where you leave the railway siding and you join the Great North Walk at the Cowan train station. You'll eventually walk over the M1 Pacific motorway, which you'll see here. This is looking to the right, that's looking towards Sydney over there. This track was built back in the late 1890s by the Rhodes family. That guy moved down there, started up his own boat shed. So this whole track that you can see here, it is a bush track, and you've got to climb a lot of rocks during this track as well. You eventually end up at Cowan Creek. You can kind of see there, like you just can't jump on your bike and go for a ride through here. You're actually bushwalking. You don't want to go down here as well if there's been rain in the last 24 hours because the rocks can get a bit slippery. Make sure you wear the right footwear. As you can see, wonderful location. You're kind of at the bottom of the rainforest here, and you're getting close to Cowan Creek to see where the Rhodes family built their house back in the late 1890s. And here we are. Welcome to Jerusalem Bay with the famous palm tree there that was planted in 1921. George and Agnes Rhodes settled here in 1895. They built a home right on this point, and they operated a boat shed where they would rent out boats for people who would come up on the train from the city during the early 1900s to go fishing. So this is Jerusalem Bay. And this is the walk out of Jerusalem Bay. We're about to head north now. Back into the bush, looking back towards Cowan and along Cowan Creek there. This is video of me lost. I decided to go east instead of going north off the Great North Walk, and there was a lot of bush. I'm thinking, where is the track here? Nice view though. So when you get to that green bench there, you should go up this track, not the other way. It's not well signposted, but just stay on this track and you'll be fine. Just keep heading north. Some excellent rock formations here, and also some helpful people who have previously put arrows in to tell you where to walk. That's part of the track there. You walk between these two large rocks, and then we're back on the track. We're about to head up towards Govert's Ridge and Campbell's Creek. As you can see, it's a pretty sturdy track. Some good signage here. Jerusalem Bay is where we've come from. We're now heading towards the Brooklyn Dam. We're still climbing up through the ridge here though at this particular stage. And this is what the walk looks like as we near the letterbox. One thing that you'll find handy if you're doing the walk are these red metal G&W arrows, which are put on a lot of the rocks. The Great North Walk arrows they are. Some are engraved into the rocks as well. We're coming up now to Campbell's Crater, and it looks like pollution in the water, but it's quite natural apparently. Apparently it's iron mixed in with the water, and that's around near the Campbell's crater area. This here I loved. This is kind of almost like the halfway point, well, at least it was for me anyway. It's the letterbox, where you register your intention of the walk. So in our case, we were walking from Cowan to Brooklyn. Just write down your name, your contact details, and any other comments you want to add to it as well. And it's actually up near the M1 Pacific motorway. It's not far away, so about 100 metres away from that towards the east, from the letterbox, is a viewing point where you can actually look over here and see the M1 Pacific motorway. That's looking south, so you can see some cars there are driving up to the Central Coast or Newcastle, and there's a fence here which you can walk up to and look over and have a look at the M1 Pacific motorway. So when you leave the letterbox area, you eventually end the bushwalk part and you end up on an access trail which vehicles can drive along, obviously four-wheel drive vehicles. It's used by, I would suggest, the Rural Fire Service to tackle fires. As you can see there, Cowan is 5 kilometres away that way. Brooklyn is here to the left. So we're about to follow the access trail down towards Brooklyn. Here you can see a freight train below us, below the access trail. You can kind of see the M1 Pacific motorway that goes down through the valley there as well. And there's actually a car, looked like a pretty old car was involved in some sort of accident, fell off the cliff there, and that's what is being left over of the car, just rusting away. This is what the track looks like as you continue along the access trail. Lucky me, I didn't see any snakes this particular day. This is the first glimpse of the Hawkesbury River, particularly looking up towards Brooklyn. It's quite exciting when you're on the walk and you get to this mark and you start seeing nice views of the river. This here is possibly one of the best lookouts on the trip. As you can see, you can look right up the Hawkesbury River there towards Mooney to the left, and then around to the right, just beyond that tree there, you can see the Hawkesbury River Bridge, the rail bridge down near Brooklyn. Magnificent views. That's the main road that gets you from Sydney to the Central Coast and Newcastle, and eventually goes north through the state. That's the rail bridge, the second rail bridge that was built. The first one only lasted a few decades and they got rid of it. And look right down there through into Brooklyn. A great spot to have your lunch. This is my first time ever to the Brooklyn Railway Dam. It's disused nowadays, but in the late 1890s, the concrete dam wall was constructed, and it was there for the use of the steam trains that used to service the Hawkesbury and the Brooklyn region. And the dam wall was increased in the 1920s. But as the railway line became electrified, there was little use for the dam, so it was handed over to the National Parks and Wildlife Service. Nowadays, the dam is used by campers and people who come there to fish for bass, and also there's eels inside the dam.